record. So just for the sake of those listening, I'm going to tell the stories real quick. So what I did when I was going through my bachelor's program at Naropa for yoga, I realized that most therapists, most counselors, most psychotherapists, they don't have that body aspect, getting into the body with their clients. So I reached out to many of the therapists in my area, literally just by phone. And half of them were willing to meet with me. All I said was, hey, are you willing to have a discussion about how I might be able to help your clients even further with incorporating yoga? And this is also one of the reasons why I've incorporated in the program the ability, like the 7 chakras, because what I want you to be able to understand is that there's different ways to connect with your students and like understand what's going on with them by literally understanding what's going on within the chakras. You're still gonna benefit from this. I know yoga is not your primary concern, but we're gonna talk about.
I went through the chakras and I get the yoga dance program, which was going through all the chakras, so I have an idea.
Excellent. So I remember actually in yoga too, which was the second class we took in school, it was primarily focused on the chakras that whole semester. And so we would actually go through the poses for about a month within each chakra. I think it was actually 2 weeks. And what we would do is, again, like go through not only the actual physical asanas, but then look at what are the symptoms of a chakra being overstimulated or understimulated. And that's why I've provided you. Okay, that's why I provided to everyone, my teacher's actual paper to understand when a chakra is out of balance and what to do. So anyways, I reached out to therapists, and about again, half of them were willing to meet with me. And after I met with those therapists, about 90% of them really agreed that they would be able to affect more change in their client's life if they were able to, if I was working with them on the yoga side. So they would work with them doing the therapy as they were. And then afterwards, I would actually meet with them and incorporate different yoga poses based upon the issues that they were facing in their life. The reason I brought up the Yoga 2 class was also because our end test exam was, we got like scenarios of, say, Chris is really spiritual. He's very connected to that state, yet he's having trouble with getting to class on time and following his assignments. What would you do? What would you prescribe for him to get him back on track? And so we would look at, based upon the symptoms that he's facing, look at the chakras that we felt were out of balance, and then recommend different asanas. So this is where you really can. I mean, the science is there. The proof is there. We know when someone's chakras are out of balance based upon the symptoms that they're facing. Often someone that is in their root chakra is out of balance, is they might crave sex. They might be very promiscuous because they haven't quite opened up that root chakra. So anyways, the point of all of that was that I reached out to therapists because I felt like I could truly help their clients, and it would help them in return. Their clients would be even happier with the progress because they were getting into their bodies as well as getting into their minds. Okay. You guys are giving me like dizzy spells moving all over the house and adjusting your cameras today. Jeez. Okay. So let's kind of talk about the first steps of, creating profitable, like-minded relationships. Well, the thing is that you've started with your perfect client questionnaire, and you've kind of honed into who your perfect client is, getting a good sense of who that individual or who that group or who you can benefit. Looking at their problems, looking at what products or services they're already currently, purchasing. So an evolution of that is, what are the other professionals that these people seek out? If somebody's having back trouble, then they're going after a chiropractor. If they have certain injuries, then there's certain doctors, certain specialists that they go after. If they are having stress in their life, maybe they're going after therapists. So looking at that, who are some professionals that I could communicate with and have a relationship with that benefit us both. And I'm trying to remember, her name is Pravit. She went through the program, and she was using yoga for fertility. She was helping women actually become more fertile to be able to have children. Maybe they've had trouble with that. And in a lot of societies, she was talking about in the Asian culture, it's incredibly not taboo, but you're looked down upon if you can't have children. So it's something that they don't even really want to speak about. So what she did was she got into a community of those women that actually, I'm trying to remember the relationship that she formed. It was someone who had to do with fertility, and she really loved that Pravit knew how to use yoga to basically help these women become more fertile. So what she did was she opened up her book. She opened up that path to her clients to her. And it was really successful in terms of allowing her to get more business by literally just pairing with a like-minded professional. It just kind of blew the lid off her business. So again, it's starting to think of your perfect client, the problems that they're facing. Where are they going? Who are they working with? And what would make sense to have to work with that professional where it would be, beneficial. And sometimes it's just as simple as giving them a referral fee or giving them like a commission. I would say referral fee. I wouldn't say commission. And let me stop there real quick to see if I'll go ahead and unmute everyone. Is there any questions that are coming up for you so far, or maybe some ideas? I can't hear because all of you are talking at once. There's just too much chatter going on right now.
I think it's, it gave me a lot of things to, I think it's a great idea to really start thinking about who my clients, what other therapists or specialists that they seek. And I think that's a really great angle.
Yeah.
Something to look into.
Yeah, it would definitely benefit you because you've talked about how the place where you're at in Sweden is known for being a very healing spot. It's being even though there's not as many people full time there all year round, still it's known as a healing place. And so you reaching out to other professionals in the area, even beyond, it doesn't have to be just in your immediate geographical location, because if you're doing a retreat, if you're doing a workshop, there's different ways to connect with people beyond your just, immediate 5 mile, 10 mile, 15-minute vicinity. So just keep an open mind in terms of, who could I potentially pair with? And the thing is, it's fun. It's a win-win situation. So let me kind of, give you some other ideas to how to pair with like-minded professionals. Well, here in Denver, there is, I think it's called Conscious 360 Networking. There's another one that's all about bringing healers together, therapists, chiropractors, anyone that has somewhat of a conscious business. So that might not be obviously in your area, but I'm sure there's networking events where you could potentially meet other therapists, like people who are in the healing arts, massage therapists. Massage therapists could be an excellent referral source. And the thing is that if you make this financially rewarding for them, then that's really the epitome of a win-win situation. It's not just saying, hey, can you just refer me your clients? It's actually giving them some type of referral fee. And let me take a step back for a second.
Can I ask you a question about that?
Yeah.
When you're seeking out referrals, would you recommend just choosing one chiropractor, for example, instead of approaching multiple?
No. I mean, there's.
Yeah, I did that once, and I think I must have come across two chiropractors that didn't like each other.
Okay.
And the one was like, well, if you're working with him, then forget it. It was just not talking to me.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe I did. It was the first time I'd ever done anything like that. So I thought maybe I did it wrong or stepped on toes or.
Sure. I mean, I would say feel out the situation, because the thing is that.
There's no way to know that until you go there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can be like, listen, I am working with other to be open about it. But I mean, it's not something you have to divulge either to them unless they were asking. So you just obviously talk about the benefits to their clients and what the relationship, the benefit to both of you. If they happen to ask if you're working with anyone else, obviously be honest. If they have a problem with that, then I guess you have to address that when it comes. Hopefully not everybody is not liking the other professionals in their area and has, sometimes respect for the other professionals in their area. So again, that's kind of a case-by-case basis, in my opinion. So in terms of, again, where can you meet other like-minded professionals? It's not just also about networking. It's also simply looking them up. Once you've figured out the massage therapist could be a really great referral source for you, it's literally picking up the phone and giving them a call. Because an email is not going to do it. And the what I want to convey here too, and this is really goes about all around, not just in your conversations, but also in your marketing. You're not asking for marriage on the first date. You're really trying to slowly build that relationship because it takes a while for people to trust you to, refer clients to you. So literally just saying, hey, are you open to at least meeting and talking about how we might have a bit of beneficial relationship working together? And then once you've actually had that meeting, to come in and actually speak about what you do, it's just simply talking about the benefits their clients will get out of it. And you talk about the benefits that they will get out of it. Because what do we always talk about? The people are always wondering, what's in it for me? What can you do for me? So talk about the benefits, obviously, for their clients, but talk about the benefits that they'll get out of it as well. And often that's paying a referral fee, something to get them, financially to want to refer clients to you. Any questions so far? Okay.
Yeah, I have a question.
Oh, hey, Michelle.
Hello. Yeah, I came late. So I came late and I missed the beginning. So I don't know if you covered it already. But if you do establish a relationship with a chiropractor or whoever, how does it go from there in terms of actually getting the referrals? Because I imagine they might feel not okay in giving out phone numbers of their clients. Does it work like that they just give you the numbers and then you call them up and offer your services to the
No, that's a good question. If they're going to refer their clients to you, then I've never had a situation where they weren't comfortable giving me their phone number for the client because, you know, we've already established it's going to be beneficial for their client. You might find someone that, you know, like in the beginning, that's not willing to give out, you know, the information. And if they say that, then I would say, okay, if that's not something you're comfortable with, then just simply, can you give them my business card? Can you give them this brochure? Something that, you know, conveys how you can help them. So, no, it's a good question. I'm sure there's some people that are not comfortable with completely divulging the person's information, but again, I've never encountered that. So what I found for me, because I really loved working with people with anxiety and stress. It was something that, you know, where I came from before I found yoga. So what I really felt was people that, you know, are really looking for healing, therapists and counselors and psychotherapists were what these people were actively seeking out. So think about it. The people that are that are your perfect client, where are they seeking out, you know, help for what they are, for what's going on for them in their lives? What are they seeking out? And that's really the question that you'll need to ask. And then when it comes to, you know, meeting those professionals, again, networking events are a great way, but also just simply picking up the phone. Literally Googling in your area, you know, a chiropractor or a counselor, whoever it is, and reaching out to them.
And what kind of referral fee is appropriate?
Good question. So typically what I would do is 10 to 15%. The highest I would ever go would be 20 to 25. That's the highest that I would ever go.
Of one session of like?
No, that's a good question. So when it came time to working with the therapist, what I would do is we had a different kind of a relationship because they would actually charge their client and then pay me. So like they would charge $90 per session and then they would give me $75 of it. So they would take $15 out of every one of those for referring clients. You can do it that way, or you can pay a straight referral fee. That's a really good question. I probably should have been a little bit more prepared for that question. Because obviously it's an ongoing relationship that you're typically going to have with their client. So what's coming.
I can share what I did if you'd like to hear.
Please, this is a mastermind. Please, we're stronger together. Sure. Please.
I was in California, in Monterey, where people were paying a little bit more for their yoga. So, and I move around, so I know that the rates kind of change by geography.
You do move around, Rebecca. That is for sure.
And when I, part of what I did, like you said, you have to kind of show up in person somehow. It's either a phone call, or for me, I prepared like a little package about myself. I had like a cover letter, what I was interested, what my, what my expertise was in, and how I thought it would be beneficial for their clients. And it had my business cards and a couple of pamphlets in it. And I hand delivered it to several offices. Now, everyone was not available to talk to me when I stopped by, but they were impressed that someone actually came by the office and dropped it off, and they didn't get an email or send it through snail mail.
Right. And
so that in turn got me a few phone calls.
What's that? Say it again.
And that got me a few phone calls.
Okay.
And then as far as like the price for referral, I offered as much as I would charge for my private session. So, for example, this was a while ago, and so one private session was $90. So I offered him $90. And I also offered an option and I also gave him a discount on a Thai massage, like, half off on a Thai massage.
Right.
And I actually had a few clients that were Thai massage clients, and then they were chiropractors or massage therapists, and they loved my services and working with me. And so, of course, they would talk me up to their clients. And then as far as knowing who came from where, I always had a new client intake form. And at the bottom it said, "How did you hear about me? Were you referred by someone?" And that's how I got the information.
That's excellent. Thank you, Rebecca. That's really excellent.
Mm-hmm.
They say 80% of success is showing up. And the truth is that 99% of yoga teachers will never do any of this. They're not willing to actually get out of their comfort zone to go and visit someone's office because they feel a little bit vulnerable. You feel like maybe you're not in control in that situation. But the truth is that at the end of the day, all you're trying to do is just help people. And it really is explaining it as a beneficial situation for both of you, both professionals. So, Rebecca, really thank you. That was really great. That was really, really great. So how often did you do that, going out and actually passing out, flyers? Was it kind of a week-long thing that you did, or was it from time to time you did it?
Well, I wasn't there for very long, but it's part of what I call rolling out the red carpet, because every time I move, I have to do the same thing all over again. So in that instance, I had workshops that were already set up, that were already in the works, and they were workshops on yoga for back care, because that's my mess that's become my message.
Yeah.
I fractured my back when I was 19 years old. And so yoga literally saved me. And I had workshops set up at a studio, one for upper back care, one for lower back care, and there were 2 different weekends. And so I also invited the professionals to come for free.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of gave them a little free ticket, come to my workshop, no charge. None of them came, but at least the invitation was out there.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
they could share that with their clients too, if they wanted to. So I had that, that event coming up that I wanted to invite them to. So it gave me sort of an excuse to go to their office. So if I would have stayed there longer, I probably would have, maybe once a year, do another,
Sure.
maybe another event, or maybe just stop by again if I haven't heard from them or something like that.
You were there for less than a year in Monterey?
Yeah. About 11 months.
Jeez. The life of the military. So
11 months.
Wow.
But my books were filled up in 3 months.
That's awesome. So tell me, you really were targeting people with back trouble, correct? Is that accurate?
Yeah. When I was in San Diego before that, and everybody was fit and healthy. And then I moved to Monterey, and the average age was over 55 or 50, was around 55.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to shift my offerings, because my, advanced advanced class wasn't going to be a hit anymore. I knew it. But I checked the demographics before I started anything.
So who are you going after? Besides chiropractors?
Massage therapists and acupuncture. Because those are the people that you go to when your back is out. Absolutely.
And for everyone listening, what I would do is, once you've actually determined people in your that you could work with, is simply Googling them. because you want to work with the people that are going to show up at the top searches because they're getting the most clients. You don't just want to reach out to anybody because that massage therapist might be really struggling in their business. So it's just simply just saying like whoever like, you know, is successful is who you really want to go after, as opposed to any massage therapist or any chiropractor. Michelle, I wanted to, your video went out for a second.
That's me just turning it off. I don't necessarily want to be seen all the time.
Why? You have such a beautiful setting in the background. I feel like celestial in this setting. No, I just really wanted to like, you know, kind of, you know, I want to reward people for showing up for these calls. And for those that are listening in, I know that, you know, sometimes because of literal, like it's 11 o'clock at night or 5:30 in the morning, whatever, you can't show up. So, but those that show up, I really do want to reward you because I really do appreciate you showing up on the calls. So Michelle, like for right now, like you do retreats and one of the big ones is like conscious cooking. Would the people that show up for your courses, are they typically overweight?
No, actually, no. No, being overweight isn't something that's typical. Like they might have eating issues or difficulties with their relationship to food, but not necessarily overweight.
Okay, fine. Sure. The eating disorders obviously takes on much more than just obviously being overweight.
Yeah.
So it's like, who do you think you could reach out to that would be a good referral source? Does anything come to mind at this point? And everybody listening, if you think of something, please feel free to, I mean, again, this is a mastermind group. So.
Yeah, well, actually, I was thinking in terms of my perfect client, which I've been identifying more on the lines of people with low self-esteem and anxiety rather than the
conscious cooking.
Yeah. So I was thinking like you psychotherapists, psychologists, they could be the people to go to.
Yeah, and even think something like typing in like your postal code or your zip code in psychotherapy, and maybe even adding the word yoga. Maybe you'll find someone who has a yoga background that's more, you know, receptive to the message that you have because they understand the benefits of yoga.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, psychotherapists and counselors and therapists would be an excellent, you know, obviously source for you to work with their clients. And you know, Rebecca obviously came up with a really a great point that, you know, I guess I wasn't as prepared as Rebecca. I just literally would come in, like I made a phone call and I tried to get them to sit down and talk with me. And I just always felt like if I could get someone to sit down and talk with me, that they would understand that I do have the experience and they would, you know, it would be beneficial for their clients. But obviously having something that they can hold on to is really important because, you know, they're not going to say, hey, I'm going to start sending you my clients right now, you know, and the thing that you also want to do is it's starting out a relationship slow, just like marketing. You know, I see so many yoga teachers who, and if you've done this, I'm not coming down on you, but so many yoga teachers who, again, don't really like email marketing, but then they have a retreat that's coming up, like, and then they email their list and they're like, you know, hey, basically they haven't spoke to them in 6 months or a year. And it's like, hey, I'm doing this retreat. It's $3,000. It's going to be amazing. It's 7 days long in Costa Rica. You should sign up. And it's like, you haven't like, you know, continued that relationship with that person. So in regards to working with a like-minded professional, it's like, listen, why don't we start off slow? You know, send me one client and let's see how it goes. And it's just, again, starting that relationship slow before it opens up. There's probably very few people that you have a meeting with them and then they're like, okay, I'm going to send you all my clients. It's possible. It's definitely possible, but you want to start that relationship off slow.
Can I say something?
Yeah, please, Rebecca.
I found it also, if they weren't willing to refer a client to me, then often they wanted me to come there and teach yoga there. So it might even open up a different opportunity for you and give you an opportunity to reach out to your perfect clients. They may have been looking for a yoga instructor. It's amazing how many people are looking for a yoga instructor, but they don't know how to find the perfect one because there's like a zillion out there.
Mm-hmm.
So you may come across something like that as well. So it really is something that you definitely need to do. Another thing I was thinking of, I haven't done it, but I know of health food stores that have hosted special, little 1 hour things, freebies often, or something very low cost about conscious cooking. So there may be an opportunity there reaching out to health food stores. That's essentially where your clients are shopping. Those are the products they're buying. Hopefully.
That's very smart. There's a place here in Colorado, actually. It's kind of, it's somewhere around here, just in the West. It's called Vitamin Cottage. And it's a grocery store, and it also has supplements as well. Like the big thing of what they sell is supplements. And they actually have a dedicated person that works in supplements that's like the specialist that people go to and talk to. And I know they have regular events at least once a month on like health and things of that nature. And there are cooking classes. In fact, some of the vitamin cottages have an actual kitchen just for those, events. So that would be an excellent, person to reach out to, in terms of trying to like have an event about conscious cooking. But I didn't take my fish oil today, so I'm not I'm not as sharp as I usually am. Let's see here. Well, Anna, what's coming up for you in terms of people that you could reach out to potentially?
I was just about to share here. I just started working with a naturopath. She's a naturopath, a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
She, a Swedish woman, educated in Australia. And so I work with my new business partner. He makes these juices, cold pressed, organic vegetable and fruit juices. Mm-hmm. And then, so the three of us, we create a workshop. We've created 2 of them. So we create a workshop where I open up with a little bit of yoga. I open up the body and breathing. And then the naturopath, she explains about her consultations and what she can do for the people and how she can, give them a little boost with some special herbs or whatever they need, nutrition-wise. And and then we serve some juices and we talk about how important it is to get the right nutrition in the body and how it all comes together. Blockages and stagnation in the body and not enough breath and flow and all of that, and how disease builds up. And so we just we'll go through a whole little thing that we created, and we're going to have in May here, we're going to have our first group detox where we meet at our studio and we start with juices and we show a little film and we have some presentations and we have a program and then we're going to have a support group as well.
Excellent. That's a great idea. Thank you for bringing that up because it doesn't have to just be where they refer clients to you. It could simply be a collaboration where you do a workshop together.
Yes. So I was going to say, as far as the referral fees, we just decide each individual how much money, we want to make. And then we just, and then we just put that together. And that's the price.
Okay.
So it's not like we're getting commission. You know, she's an independent contractor, and
Sure.
we have our company. So
Sure. No.
yeah, it's great, and there's so many people suffering and hurting here where we live, and yoga is so new to them, to most people here. So it's like we're just starting from the ground,
Mm-hmm.
you know, really coming out there, and it's important, I think, to really, because there is some yoga, but it's more on aerobic level. It's more like group exercise.
Yeah.
So this is a little deeper, more understanding. And now I'm learning through your course here that how fun it is to really start to hone in on these people that are ready to heal and that are ready to do something about their health, and, you know, to reach out to that group, not trying to reach out to people that aren't ready, you know. So it's, yeah.
That's great, Anna. Thank you. I really appreciate that. So what started to get to me thinking is that, you know, we've talked about massage therapists, we've talked about actual chiropractors, we've talked about therapists and counselors and psychotherapists, but let's even look at people that might be even in more alignment with what we do. It's naturopaths, there's holistic practitioners, there's acupuncture, there's Ayurveda practitioners as well. So there's so many people that, you know, really we can reach out to. And what really the energy that, you know, when I listen to Rebecca, what really comes off is that it's simply just putting yourself out there is where opportunities create themselves. And that's so true. It's so true. But that's the thing, is that, like, so many of us are kind of scared, which I understand. Listen, I used to have incredible social anxiety, and it was funny because I worked in sales. I think the reason I did it was because I was just trying to, like, you know, bust through it. But I hated doing cold calls because I didn't like, you know, having to, like, jumpstart that, you know, kind of relationship over the phone. It was harder than obviously someone had been referred to me, or they had, you know, sought us out on our website and filled out a form and I'm calling them back. But the thing is that it's not about you. It's just simply sharing a 5,000-year-old healing practice to people who need it. And you have that in your mind. You know that it's something that's been proven to give people freedom in their lives, not only mentally, but physically. And so, again, finding like-minded professionals is such an excellent way to also not feel like you're alone. Because often, like, you know, we're trying to do things like, you know, build our businesses. And when you have those collaborations, it's like starting to create like a team, you know, starting to build friendships within your profession. So
I just wanted to mention that this woman, she was a customer of mine. So that's how we met. So it wasn't that I forget how it happened actually, but, you know, she was a customer of mine, and I see there are different, you can start working with your customers, you know, because they're in the field, so they have to come and do their yoga practice. So they take care of themselves, because when they see their patients, they recommend them go take some yoga, because a naturopath is not just looking at the individual and prescribing herb medicine. She's looking at the whole human being and looking into what's going on in their life, and, you know, maybe you should take up yoga practice and etc.
Well, so
that,
Anna, no, that's an excellent point. That's really great, because the thing is that we constantly have audiences with our group classes. We constantly have people from all walks of life that are coming into our classes. And that's why, you know, sharing what you do at the end of classes, like, not every class, obviously, do you invite someone to work with you, but you can simply say, if you're looking for more of a one-on-one experience to take this deeper, to go beyond just, an hour and 15 minutes to get even more healing, I do offer one-on-one sessions. If you're interested, you can come talk to me, or you can go to my website and schedule a 30-minute consultation. By simply just talking about what you do, you're going to create opportunities. And that's hard for some teachers because they're not used to talking about their services at the end of the class. They're not used to inviting students to connect with them even deeper. It's like, I'm glad you enjoyed the class, namaste, and then it's over. But we're missing out on those opportunities because it's just like when you do a workshop or you're finishing up even just a regular, asana class, these people are at the height of how they feel feeling good. And that is the best time to introduce what you do. How, an invitation to work with you even further because they're feeling good. And now that's the state that you want them in to obviously consider what you do versus trying to do it, off cold in the beginning of the class and in the class or in the end of a workshop is usually the best time to introduce your services. I think, we don't necessarily have to go for the full hour. I think that's pretty much what I have to say, but I definitely want to answer any questions that's coming up. And then we can even discuss like any ideas that are coming up. Like, please, like what a mastermind is where we share our businesses and then literally going around. And if anybody has any ideas to further that, that's what this is about. We can really further and strengthen each other.
I remember that I did I was advertising for a while, letting other yoga teachers to rent some space, to rent the space and share the space. And that's how this situation surfaced. She's like, oh, did you find anybody? So she wanted to start consulting her clients in my yoga studio. Excellent. And that's how we just kind of started working a little bit like that.
Well, what came to me is actually like, in terms of partnerships is there's actually, I can't remember her name. She was a fairly good teacher in California, but she decided to pair with the DJ. And, the DJ had his crowd and then the yoga teacher had their crowd and they came together. And they actually, did the DJ was on while the yoga teacher. Now, listen, I'm kind of old school. I don't even sometimes, most of the time, play music in my classes. But I mean, if that's your thing, there's no judgment. Like it's open to whatever you want to do. Like there's so many different partnerships and it could be even another yoga teacher that has like maybe like coming at it from a different angle, what you're doing, or, they have a certain specialty that could be interesting to your crowd and bring them together because we always want to be growing again, that those opportunities and continuing to build our list, continuing to build our following. And so by working with other people that have a following through that collaboration, we really can grow our business. Because we're just introducing it to people that would be receptive to our message. So it doesn't always have to be, a chiropractor or a naturopath or an acupuncturist. Who is somebody that you feel like, it would be a fun collaboration? And just, again, putting it out there. Is there a chat? Somebody had chatted here. Yulia, when people come after class and ask you, can you tell me what to do for this? Or hold up, let me Yulia, are you there? I just unmuted you.
Oh, hi, yeah. So I just wonder, like, if you guys have some kind of, sentences or suggestions, because I have a lot of this that class is over and I usually, like, I don't always have time to stand and hang out, and they say, oh, my back hurts, can you tell me what to do? Or, oh, my shoulder hurts, can you tell me what to do? I just sometimes don't know how, first of all, it's hard for me to tell them without looking closer. Somehow how to direct them into maybe booking a session, that way we can see what actually the issue is.
Yeah, I mean, so if somebody's coming up to you after class, well, first off, let me kind of start for the actual in the class, like before, you say namaste or however you in class, be like, listen, I hope you really enjoyed this session. If you're looking to continue this and go even deeper, I do offer private one-on-one sessions. And you can say, you can talk to me after class, or you can simply go on my website and book an appointment. And that's why I do recommend on our websites to have a way for them to schedule a time to speak with us.
Okay.
But in addition to that, if somebody comes up to you after class and says, my back hurts, be like, listen, I would really love to help you. Why don't we schedule, a 30-minute consultation to see how I can help you?
Okay, that's
because the thing is that like, it's just like, it's kind of like, let's say you're on vacation, and there's a doctor that's, staying in the house too. And you're like, well, I got this and I got that. And it's like, it's that same situation. It's kind of absurd sometimes to like have to like bombard somebody with your problems. And that's what people are so willing to do after yoga class. Like, and they don't understand that we only probably got paid $35 to $50 for that class. Like if we really want to get some additional help, and you can even simply say to lead them on, like, has this been going on for a while for you? Have you been having some aches and pains? Well, if that's the case, then we probably need to work with this long term versus, just trying to give you a couple different suggestions right now. But
yeah, I sometimes started saying, well, they said I wouldn't be able to tell you, just like I said, that would be not even helpful to you if I just threw some poses at you.
Excellent. Like, I would really like to get more to the bottom of the situation so that I can really help you to find out how long it's been going on, like, what kind of symptoms you're having. And it's almost like not smart of me to just tell you this is what you should do, because I don't know the full gamut of what's going on. Mm-hmm. So what I would recommend is actually sitting down and talking about, how finding out what's going on with you, and if yoga can indeed help you. I can provide a 30-minute consultation, to see if it's a good fit, if I can help you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is like that because a lot of yoga teachers, and I kind of talk about this all the time, and it's easy to do. It's so easy to do. You got someone that even comes up to you after class and they're like, hey, like, do you do anything like, working one-on-one, or like somebody like, hey, like, is there anything you can do to help me with my back? Especially if someone like asks about your services. And that's when people, like, their eyes get big. The teacher, they're like, oh, well, I do private one-on-one sessions, and it's 10 sessions, and it's $90 for one session, but if you do 10 sessions, then it works out to $75. And the person's just like, okay, but you weren't, you don't really even know what's going on, like, if you can indeed help me. And so that's what I talk about in conscious and authentic selling. It's just simply saying, well, tell me what's going on for you. And obviously setting that time aside, before or like after class, like not actually talking to them right after class, but setting aside a different time to speak with them. And it's finding out what's going on for them. Because if somebody tells you, like, my back's hurting, and you go into a spiel about working one-on-one, like, and telling about their prices, they don't feel like they've actually been heard. And people often need to talk about their problems to almost sell themselves on why they need your services. Mm-hmm. And then it's also asking them, because what we're doing in our marketing, and I just re-recorded module 3 about crafting your perfect offer. And I think it's a really good training for anyone that's looking to build their signature gift, and making sure that also your website has the right messaging for your offerings. But when I had you do the perfect client questionnaire, it's talking about where are they now in their before state? What are the problems that they're facing currently right now? And talking about that. If it's somebody that has a bad back, it's like, are you being limited by the type of activities that you can do because of your back? Is it really frustrating you that you don't have the same abilities that you used to have? Is it bothering you to have this pain on a consistent basis and you just don't know what to do? And what you do is now you talk about the transformation to the after state. And it's talking about, and what I mean by transformation, it's not always like life transforming. I mean, literally transformation could be someone goes and they cook rice in their kitchen, and it's like they're doing it old school on the pot and stuff like that. And then they look at a rice cooker and they're like, oh my God, the convenience of that is going to be so amazing. So that's a transformation. That's the before to the after state. So we're always talking about the first thing is the before state. Where are you right now? What's going on in your life right now? And how you can transform to the after state. So how that also relates when you're talking to someone is asking what their problems is, and then asking them, like, for you, what would be some goals? Where would you like to be? Because now they're getting into the state of, this is what I would like to be doing. This is what is important to me. Your clients will always tell you what's important to them. And all we simply need to do is address those things. So many people have an agenda of, I've got to talk about these 10 components of my program. And you've just totally like negated what they've told you is important to them. People are not buying, features. They're buying transformation. So when they tell you what their problems are, like, I can't bend over. Like, well, if I start working with you and we begin doing the asanas, you're going to be able to stretch back. You're going to be able to have more mobility in your back. They're going to tell you what's important to them. But often, again, we get into a spiel of, what we, memorized from our website or from, for a workshop or retreat. And we've totally negated everything they've told us that it's important to them. Does that make sense, everybody?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good.
Well, the thing is that for 12 years of my life, I did phone sales, and part of that was like when I was in the mortgage business and I was talking to people about, refinancing their home or, buying a new house. So I wasn't like just always on the phone. Like there was a couple times when I was always on the phone, like in a boiler room, like calling people, and I didn't like it. But what I realized is that first off, we need to build a rapport with our customers first. Just simply asking them, how are you doing? Like, and once we've kind of like gone through the pleasantries, it's like, well, what's bringing you in today? What's making you inquire about yoga and how yoga can help you? What kind of symptoms are you facing? It's like when someone goes to a doctor, the doctor says, well, what's bringing you in today? And then the person talks about their problems. Same thing for you. What's bringing you in today? What's making you inquire about using yoga to kind of help you in this situation? What kind of symptoms are you facing? I feel like I keep kind of saying the same thing over and over again, but it's so really important because this is where you really work with someone, and get them to sign up for your services without selling them. Because all you're simply doing is listening to them, what problems they're facing. And then now you're talking about how you can help with those problems. It's never selling someone. No one ever wants to be sold. They just simply want to know that you care and that you provide a solution. Okay. Well, before I sign off, is there any questions that are coming up for anybody? Like what I would recommend is right after this call, sit down and simply come up with 5 different potential referral sources for you, 5 different relationships that you could potentially, where you could collaborate with someone. and then like start Googling those types of professions or those individuals, and start reaching out. There's no reason that you can't start tomorrow. Rebecca, what time is it? You're in your time, like 6:30, 7?
Yeah, it's going on 7.
See, Rebecca, you've got the whole day. You could totally reach out to people. Anna, you're like 11 o'clock at night in like, Switzerland. Probably not the best time to reach out to people. Yulia, you got probably a little bit of the time of the day left. Like, let's
actually midnight here.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Well, thank you for being a part of it. Appreciate that.
I was just curious, this topic the topic of tonight's training here.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say? Creating profitable, like-minded relationships. Is this part of one of the modules that you're thinking that you're applying this to, or?
I used to have it and then I took it out, but I'm going to put it back in. I'm actually going to re-record it. I'm funky. I'm just constantly recording these things like over and over and over again because like I'm also in some ways a perfectionist, but I still do get things wrong. But I'm constantly honestly plugging into what's going on within the group and what's needed. And that's how I kind of form the basis of the training, is I'm constantly reading what's going on. And so last point, I'm so notorious for saying, okay, last thing. So many of us, and you're going to learn this like with learning, like crafting your signature gift or your perfect offering. You don't have to have your whole criteria lined up. Like, let's say you had a 12-week transformation program that you work with people one-on-one. When I started this program, this coaching program, it's always been eight modules. I only had one module recorded when I actually started taking on clients, because I knew that my clients would actually tell me what's important to them. And what you think is important, it probably is in some ways important, but your clients will tell you what's even more important, and you'll learn more from actually cluing in with them what's important to them. So as I took on more clients, I started to focus on, what were their problems, and I started recording trainings based on that. So that's really key, because so many people will spend so much time on creating a product or a service that they put so much energy in that. And we've already talked about how that's backwards, like creating a product or service and now seeing how that fits in the marketplace. No, you look at who you're passionate about working with in the marketplace, and then creating products and services based upon that perfect client. But you don't have to have everything figured out before you start taking on clients. I promise you, you will learn so much more when you take them on and you start working with them. You can have a general outline. You can maybe have a third of the course, figured out, maybe even half the course figured out, but leave a lot of openness, just like in a workshop. Sometimes, like when I've done workshops, I had 50% of the criteria figured out. And as I would go through the course, I would figure out what was important to the rest of the group. Anna, I know you have something else to say. Go ahead.
I know I always have constantly like ideas all the time. No, but I'm involved. This is really interesting because I have a tendency I'm involved in different projects through the county.
Just Anna, keep this succinct, because we're like already an hour. We're already past an hour. So
I come across a lot of entrepreneurs, like 350 companies, mostly single entrepreneurs, and we have all these. Now when I have to be fast, I can't speak very well.
Well, I don't want to hear about your dating life. I don't want to hear about your dating life, Anna. Like
this has nothing to do. I don't date. So.
You said there are 350 single entrepreneurs. I was like, wow.
No, but I meant like there's like 1,000 people in this group, and there's about 350 single or sole proprietors,
solopreneurs. Yeah, solopreneurs.
Solopreneurs. And, all these people we meet, this is funded by the Swedish government and money from the European Union. And it's about getting all these entrepreneurs more competent in whatever business that they're in. So anyway, we meet and we do our business plans and we work on our business. And I've noticed it's like one thing missing in this whole, in all of these courses that they offer, because this is all free to the participants. It's like the stress part, or the yoga, or to add the breathing and some postures, because they're trying to figure out how they're going to handle their business. And so I've come in contact with a lot of people, and I'm thinking, I could do some. I could just kind of like work with all of these people. It should be included in these programs, that you have to take time off to sit down and meditate or do some yoga. Because if you do that, then everything else is going to just fall into place. But it comes back to that all the time. Whenever we get stressed, etc., it's like, just go back, sit down, do your yoga, and it's like, you're back on track. So that's an idea I have. I'm going to work on a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
One small idea that came off from that is, I don't know how big meetup.com is in people's areas, but meetup.com is, at least here in the US, it's a pretty big site. And it has all different types of, if you have like a hiking group, you can have like a singles group. You could have a dog group. There's so many different groups. Well, you could simply have a yoga for whatever your niche is, or yoga and whatever your niche is. And really that's one of the ways that you could potentially find clients. It's like $12 a month, I think, to have a group on meetup.com. But having something literally in your niche is a great way to find potentially clients who would like to work with you one-on-one. That's just something that came up for me. I've got to end this. I've got to take care of some other stuff. But thank you so much, everyone, for being participants on the call. Rebecca, Anna, Yulia, Michelle, Yelena. Not everybody got a chance to really speak, but I hope everyone got some benefits out of this call. So thank you so much, everyone, for being on the call, and I will connect with all of you soon.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste.